Good morning, everybody. I am running a few minutes behind. Yes, I am, but at least I'm here. So, with that being said, I'm dealing with a hacked site that I manage, so I had to, yeah, I'm just running a little late. Not a big deal, though. We'll get into it. Got a bunch of things to cover so far. Let me see if I can find my thing. I was looking for something. There we go. That's it. Good morning. I am Dark Pole Algo, and today is Thursday, March 31st, 2022. And at the end of March, things are going to get super woody because that's right, it's the end of the month. It's the end of the month. Yeah, see? That song never would have made it if that was the name of it, right? Would have been stuck like Chuck. All right. All right, let me get signed into the chat here and we will get going. There's that guy. Oh, bummers. You know what I didn't do? People on Twitter are going to be mad at me because I didn't get it started, getting going out to them. Let's see if we can get that going real quick. And sweet. Nobody's here in the chat. What? Can't be the first one. All right. Let's get some charts loaded. Gonna get some charts loaded and we will go from there. All right. We need that one. We want this one, this one, this one, this one. I think we should do it. Okay. Look at that move on AMD yesterday. Oh, I'm so mad at myself. Dude, I had puts that I had swung overnight. Oh, I cut them early. I cut them on this drop here, right? I got shook out here because I don't know what I was doing. And this thing just dripped all the way back down. Dripped it all the way back down. All right. All right, so let me do this. AMD in the news, downgraded. That's why, to equal weight from overweight. Man. All right, 1 second here. Dude, AMD with a downgrade, and I got out earlier. Jeez, Apple. All right, let's get into it. Where is my stupid... This guy, this guy, this guy. Here. Morning, Terry. Morning, Billy. All right. Lots of things to cover. What am I missing? I think that's it for now. What am I missing? I think that's it. All right, let me go turn that loud noise off. I'll be right back. 1 second. You know who I miss? I miss Laz. I miss seeing him in the morning. He was always super like, let's get it. Y'all remember Laz? Shout out to Laz, homie. Pour some out for the homie. I should reach out to him and see how he's doing. I know he was doing some. I know he was on the job hump real hard for a while. All right, and technology, lots of things. Datadog, monitoring security platform for cloud applications, today announced its status as a Microsoft partner with the Zero Cloud Adoption Framework. DDOG is going to rip off of that news. That's pretty important. Let's see if I can just get. It's pretty big news there. Also, AMD is downgraded to equal. Share that with some peeps. And then Apple is considering sourcing memory chips for its iPhones from China following a production disruption out of Japan earlier this year, Bloomberg reported. The tech giant is testing NAND flash memory chips from Yanks Memory Technologies, according to a report. Current suppliers Samsung and SK Hynix were expected to make up for the shortfall. A China company would add to a group that also includes Micron, but sources are unclear if the deal would go through at all. Apple in the news, right? Kind of a chop fest, but check out this AMD hit. It got clapped, right? It got clapped and instant recovery. They're buying the dip on that sucker, 116 to 120. That's a real candle. This is what concerns me. 30-minute 200 got given up, right? 30-minute 50 days, there's support. That downgrade can really clap AMD. So those are kind of two big pieces of news. DDOG should rip off that news. No. Datadog, yeah, quite a little bit of pop, drop, and lock it. I like this for another continued move up. Testing 155, 157. This is importante. I need to pass this along today. Very importante. All right. Let's see what. So goes Apple. So goes the market. Let's see what's happening with Apple right now, shall we? All right. A little bit of a pop to consolidation. Failure. One second. All right. In healthcare, Invax is back in the news. Y'all remember Invax? Right? It said it submitted a request to expand authorizations for its 19 COVID vaccine in Europe for adolescents 12 to 17. It's been on a, right? What happened? Well, we gave up the 200, gave up the 50, right? We came up, we hit the 50, back down to the weekly bottom. So it looks like the weekly is going to hold on it. Next step would be weekly mid, which is currently way up here. No, it's not going weekly mid. Invax below 76, 72. We move back down to 74. Above that, I think we get to move up to about 80, 81. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember Clovis? Yes. The penny stock? Yeah, I know. It hit like $8. This is a big move for a penny. 164 to 260. $1 up overnight. Said its treatment showed a benefit over some ovarian cancer patients and reached its primary endpoints in phase 3 trial. Next step is for it to be released, right? That's a big move on Clovis if you want to play some pennies. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Um, all right. What do we got here? Financials. Nothing really in financials going through. Energy. Crude oil prices slide over 5% after reports the Biden administration is weighing a plan to release around 180 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in what would be the largest release from stockpile since 1975. That's a big deal. This is crude overnight, right? Well, we're not supposed to get into our stockpile, right? That's for when we go to war with Russia or Saudi, right? I wonder why you would do that. Anyway, in consumer news, Tesla is expanding its production halt at its Shanghai factory and not resume until April 2nd. The factory is in the Puding district east of the Chinese Hunkampong River. So Tesla, let's see what Tesla's going to do off that news. Did not like that news at all. Dude, did it give up all of its gains yesterday? Man, that's crazy. I wonder what happened. You see this big old wedge that's being formed on Tesla? Right? 50-50 chance you're going to be right on which side it pops out. You want to take a risk? You want to do a big old, what is this? This is a bull flag, right? Is it a bull flag breakout or is it a bull flag failure? What's going to happen in the next couple of days? Well, it might even happen today. 30-minute chart. Downside 10 and 1060. If I were a betting man, I would do a fib from that high to this low and look at a 50% retrace. So 1065, 1050, 1012. You could do 1,000 puts or you could do the 1175 calls and just figure out, just sit back and bide your time. Which way is it going to go? Which way does it go? Right? Let me do this. But yeah, that's a perfect flag. Big old nasty bull flag. Oh, look at this. It's also my favorite pattern. Look at that. And then you get the corrective. So that's A, B, C, D corrective pattern. All right. The Tesla rack, like I said, I would look at monthly top is at 1065. 1065 puts, or even 1035 puts. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna play this. How am I gonna where am I gonna put this? So hold on. One second. I have to big old flag on say 1065, 10 what? 1035. And then okay. All right, and let's see what we've got here. Earnings after the close. We've got nothing really. There's no Friday earnings that we want to play. I'm not saying anything that we would ever play, which is interesting. Lots of events today, though. Okay. 8:30. PCE price index, unemployment claims, personal income, personal spending. Williams is speaking at 9. Chicago PMI at 9:45. Natty gas storage at 11:10:30. Right. Lots of events from 8:30 to 10:30 Eastern. So, Challenger job cuts year over year. Previous with negative. Ooh, that's not so good. It's not. This doesn't really affect the market that much. Okay. Good. All right. Okay, 1 second. Let me. All right, U.S. futures are looking steady with the S&P trading in a narrow range overnight, less than 20 points, currently flat, holding around the $4,600 level. Heading into the last trading day of the month and the quarter, crude oil prices slide over 5% off a report that the Biden administration is weighing a plan to release those 180 million barrels of oil from its strategic petroleum reserves, with the headlines coming just a few hours ahead of today's OPEC meeting in Vienna. Okay. Ukraine forces are preparing for new Russian attacks in the southeast region as the old president said that the situation in Ukraine does not appear to be improving despite peace talks earlier this week. Markets are also bracing for another busy day of eco data with weekly jobless claims, personal income spending, and PCE inflation data, as well as market and manufacturing data, all expected later this morning. U.S. stocks fell on Wednesday with a bout of profit taking in place after a massive 2-week rally. Brought the S&P less than 5% from its all-time highs. U.S. stocks ended Wednesday trading with modest losses as investors booked some profits after the dramatic upswing that marked the previous couple weeks. The dip followed a recent run-up as stocks recovered from the substantial losses seen earlier this year. On Tuesday, the NASDAQ and SP reached the highest closing since mid-January. That's absolutely 100% unequivocally true. Okay. But let's look at it from a deeper perspective. I think the 200-day was coming in. People were like, "Jeez, let's get out. Let's get flat as much as possible." Okay. 9 of the 11 S&P sectors finished lower, led by consumer discretionary and information technology. However, utilities did end up higher. In Asian markets over the night, the Nikkei index falls 205 points. Remember what happens in the Asian, in the world markets. Sometimes it's like a little bit of a hint to be what happening with us. Shanghai slipped 0.44%. Hang Seng dropped some 235 points, and the DAX is down 0.25%. FTSE SE also fell. So everything in the European and the Asian markets was down overnight. Okay, just keep that in mind. It can definitely give us a little bit of a little hint into how our day can go. Maybe a little bit more choppy than we expected. Keep in mind, Thursday is not that. I mean, it's Thursday, but it's also quarter ending, monthly ending. People are going to be trying to fix their books, right? Trying to be like, hey, we had a great March. Okay, it's a real thing. Let's look at the old futures from a daily perspective. Remember I said bull flag yesterday. Well, what do we got going on here? Big old bull flag forming on the ES. Okay, when it pops, which way is it going to go? Well, we have a snowline magnet at 45.38 to the downside, right? And a tree line at 48.08. Well, the magnet effect should, we could easily pull back to the snow line, right? Maintain support, right? we can come all the way back down to the 200 at 44, break 4,500 and still be in an uptrend, right? Let's look at it from a 4-hour perspective, shall we? Up, retest the 618, pop up, retest 618 and previous lows. We still haven't touched the 21-day on the 4-hour. We still have a little bit room to come there, right? We're still uptrending. A downtrend would be represented by a move below 45.56, right? Or retesting, right? And closing, right? Being trapped below the 21 on the 4-hour between the 50, right? The wedge is, the bull flag is pretty clear. Keep in mind, AMD got downgraded, so that's going to affect the Qs, right? Chop, chop, chop. The worst thing that could happen is we just consolidate here for the next, for the entire day, right? Just chopping back and forth. Yeah, there we go. So 2150 cross down, right? So the 50 is down, the 21 is down. We have a rising 200 that's coming up, right? So if we were to extend a trend line, right, so on the path of the 200-day, on the 30-minute, we would see that even if we did dip down and bounce off of here, right? Let me show you when the date, when we switch over. That's basically the close, right? Squish, squish, squish. So we're either gonna pop out and rip to 46.31, or we're gonna reject and continue to be squeezed, right? I am personally of the belief that there's too much rising support here, and breaking this 30-minute 200 would kind of shake a lot of things up and out. So key levels I'm watching are 45.85, 45.70, 45.56. Downside target 45.38. Upside target 46.41. Yeah, so skyline to skyline or snowline magnet. Okay. That's the ES. Let's bring it over to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQer. The NASDAQer. All right, NASDAQ bull flagging on the 200-day. We're going to get a 2150 cross up and over. That happens. That should be enough to kind of, bring a little bit more juice into the NASDAQ. However, keep in mind AMD got downgraded. So NASDAQ breakdown below 15,050, right? We look at some retracements, retest the 21, right? That would be giving up the 200. We can easily chop between 14,400 and 15,100. Contrarian, which would be bullish, what I'd like to see would be a bull flag breakout, rip above 15,400, right? So out of this two snow lines, looking at it from a 4-hour might give us a little bit more perspective here. Okay, so we got a Ryzen 21, Ryzen 50-day. Currently at a snow line for support. We break down below that. We have a downside target, like I said, 1480, 14,800, 14,650-esque, right? Let's just say we do break that down. I like that move back down to here. From a Fibonacci perspective, from this low to this high, a 382 retracement puts us at 1480 28.90, which would be the rising 50-day on the 4-hour. So we've tested the 50-day once. We tested the 21 once, twice, maybe 3 times today. Overhead, though, if we start breaking out of some of this overhead resistance, getting through this demand zone, we have a skyline at 15,268 for a move for a blip up to the 127 at 15,419. Snow line to snow line consolidation can very easily happen. Okay, let's look at it from the 30-minute. We've held this uptrend. Okay, I mean, we've had some dips, right? But we've pretty much held it. All right, this is a 30-minute 2150 200 combo. We hit the 200 once, twice, ripped up, right? Whenever we get those stacked moving averages, we get a nice explosive move to the upside. Well, the same is true for the downside. Looks like we're having a little bit of trouble, like we did yesterday with the 50-day, right? We finally got above it in the afternoon, had some nice moves up overnight, right? Kind of an H-shaped pattern. Yeah, that 15,000 level is pretty significant. We are only about 100 points above it right now. This would be a good quant level study to have on right now. If we can start getting some 30-minute closes above the 21 and the 50, that's bullish. I'm going to be kind of bearish until then. Okay. All right, looking at the Dow, the daily Dow. How did the Dow do yesterday? The Dow did pretty good. It recovered the 200, right? Recovered the 200. We did doji, and we're dojiing again. Everything's bull flagging right now. We're going to get a lot of 2150 cross ups on overs. If this rejects, then it can get pretty ugly. I feel like we would break the 50 or the 200 and come back down sub 200 consolidation for the next couple of days, going into April. Contrarian, bringing it down to the 4-hour, right? We're just kind of dipping along some fib levels. 50-day held on the 4-hour yesterday, right? Or 2 days ago. Looks like we're going to get another retest of the 2150. So we're currently riding the snow line or the skyline at 35,150. Support down here at 34,550, right? However, if we break this 200-day, right, or this 50-day, I think we've got to move back down, you know, to 3420. Excuse me, but we have been, I mean, this is still an uptrend. The trend is your friend until the end, and it hasn't, you know, the trend has not been broken yet. So still look for potential moves up. The next key level I have is 35,755. It's a big move. Okay. All right, let's look at the red-headed Russell, which has been really effective the last couple of days. In case y'all haven't noticed, there has been a lot of movement in small caps. But see this big old bar? This could be the world's biggest wedge beginning. Okay. 50% retracement from this low to this high. We have a tree line magnet to the downside at 2040. Daily 2150 cross up, right? Starting to get that 50-day curling back up around. We are still way below the 200-day. We have resistance at 21.15, 21.37, and 21.63. Okay, we might just bonk our head a little bit there and very easily pull back, or we can just get range bound. Range bound between 28.88 and 21.25, right? From a 4-hour, this is the old red-headed Russell, right? Couple dips below the 50-day yesterday at the open, immediately ripped out of it. Okay, we're currently being stuck. Okay, we're below the 21, we're riding the 50-day, we're already below the 200. Remember, on the daily, our 4-hour 200 is underneath us. So do we break snow line 21.86, retest 20.77, below 20.77? We have a quick stop at 20.68 before we move back down to 20.38. Okay, yes, there is a potential of that trend line holding, right? Previous lows 20.50. Okay, so below 20.79, hit stop at 20.68 for a move to 20.50. We bounce off of that. We got to clear 20.95, 21.04, 21.15. I don't know if we come back up and retest this high, but it's not looking the greatest for the Russell. Let's look at it from a 30-minute perspective. How am I doing on time? So from this low to this high, we were riding that 50% retracement. We did dip below the 200, couldn't retake the 21. Another dip below the 200. This could be back testing the 200 for confirmation of failure. Like I said, we start making lower lows. Okay. If the Russell has a down day, I think the rest of the market will too. The Russell's kind of been the scout. When in doubt, send a scout as to what's happening. Russell's done a pretty good job. Gold. There's gold in them there hills. All right. So if y'all remember yesterday, I was like, gold came down. It touched the 50-day, right? Bounced up, tried to overtake the 21. We got to close above the 21. I need 2 closes above the 21 for confirmation of uptrend to continue. Okay. We've had not really even one. I'm looking for a 50% close above the 21. We got about a 30%. So today could be day 1 of a 50% close. Tomorrow day 2, and then we rip into next week. Big old spaghetti strap mess. Remember what I said I'd like to see happen here with this 21, which was this line right here. I'd like to see it curl up and over, and then I'd like to see the same from right the 200 up and over. Well, what's happening? Our 50-day is curling up. It's bouncing off of this rising 200 on the 4-hour chart. We can get this 21-day to cross up and over. That would be, this is a moving average squeeze breakout, right? These happen. When they happen, you catch them, they're glorious. Okay, so I'm looking at gold 1948, 1957, 1962 to the upside. Contrarian, if we contrarian below 1931, quick stop 1926, and then we play down the 1900s. Okay, that would be kind of tragic, but let's look at gold from a 30-minute perspective. Y'all see it? I see the 1, 2, 3 Wu-Tang reversal, baby. Got that Wu-Tang bake out. Let me just illustrate it this way for you. 1, 2, higher. So above the 2 line, play this move to right, play that move right there. Boom, gorgeous. So got a 50, 21, or got a 30-minute 50, 200 cross up, waiting for the 21 to cross up. If the 21 can get above the 50-day, then we get big moves. Big moves happening. Okay. The 21 rejects the 200, then we get pullback. So Wu-Tang reversal on gold 30-minute intraday chart. Looking at crude oil futures. Let's go. Well, looks like trend line seems to be working. I don't. What do I not have? I don't. Interesting. All right. I don't have. I don't really have anything on crude other than trendline support. For some reason, my indicators aren't working. But if we fail, we fail 98, 97, right? Sub 100. We retest 93s. This is a pretty big drop on crude. And it's trying to make its move. All right. And then finally, ZB. Big move. Last 4 hour, right? These 4 hour moves to the upside are represented by ES moves to the downside. All right, we came down, we hit the snow line. We have snow line target. We're just getting ready to break into a new trading or a new supply zone. We could easily reject that and bounce back. So keep an eye on the bond or the ZB, the 150.11 level, 150.25, 150.114. There is that little zone right there, little supply zone that we can get into. Above that, then we trade this zone that runs 150.11 up to about 154.17. Okay, snow line to snow line move. Rejection, we come back and we easily form. We easily form this move here, right? Pull back, up, launch. That's a daily chart. Okay, so down days, right? Couple down days next week, couple up days going into the following week, and then explosive into the 3rd week of March. Okay, contrarian, or we also just rip right through it. Okay, and then finally the old Japanese yen, which from a daily perspective, 2 up days, 4 hour perspective, couple 4 hour periods, right? We're starting to get back up into some trading zones. We're fighting, right? Bull flag, 21 saved it, get above the 50-day, right? Start going long on the yen. It's bad for the rest of the market. All right, this is FlowTrade. This is smart money, dark pool, and block trade algorithm software. Oh, the exciting news. There's lots and lots of things getting ready to happen, pop off with FlowTrade. So stay tuned for more details. Yeah, that's about it. I don't want to get into it too much of it right this second. We will next week for sure. All right. Good morning, Terry. Morning, Billy. Morning, Johnny. Morning, DJ. What's up? All right. So we're looking at, since Terry was the first one here, Terry would like to see Tesla. Absolutely. Then Billy. What would Billy like to see? BABA. And then Johnny, I'd like to see Ford. That was weird. Never heard that sound before. All right, Tesla, bearish divergence, y'all. This is very, very clean bearish divergence. Big gap that needs to be filled, right? Rejecting some key regular and dark pull trades, right? Smart money is selling out, right? They're taking profits. They're getting out of their positions that they got in back here. Okay. Points of divergence. Let's just call it the $1,000 level, even though it's more like 990, right? That's the divergence level. Tesla is slowly melting. Trend line breakage. Okay. I'm sure there's a wolfy wave out there somewhere. Okay. We have key regular blocks at 1106, 11 or 1099, 1093 as resistance support. I'm not really seeing any support blocks. Uh, 1065. So below 1065, we flush back down to, I say 1,000. I mean, there's some divergence at 1,000. Even you want to play it safe, 1040 to 990 on Tesla. This is bearish divergence. This is not bullish divergence. Let's take Tesla out of it. If you saw this as a different stock, what would you think? Oh, bearish. You're absolutely right. Okay. Next up was Baba. Baba, go bye-bye. All right. Trading with price, right? White line resistance 118, or let's just call it 119 on Baba. White line support 116.58. Above or below either one of those, we get some pretty extreme movements. The flow index made a high, higher low, higher high, higher low, lower high, higher low, lower high, higher low. What does that tell you? It is flagging. It's maintaining this course though, but it's also okay, it's consolidating, it's squeezing in there. It looks like we may have broken some trend line support, right? If we were to run some fib levels, we haven't even retraced the 618 yet. Right? We start getting some flow index breakage, so it starts breaking down. It can pull price down with it really easily. Right now it's trading with price. You see how price goes up, right? That divergence there got played out. Trading with price, right? Trading with price, up, move, trading with price. So watch the flow index for some breakage. Again, 116.58, 118.98 can chop between those two. Above it, we get woody to the upside. Below it, we stair step down to 113. Below 113, I think we 618 retrace down to 105. Okay, that's Baba. Ford is back in the news. Well, not back in the news, but bearish divergence on Ford. Yes. Okay, we talked about this the other day, right? Where the flow index was moving up, I said keep an eye on it, right? Because we're kind of extended. There's a big gap right here that needs to be filled. And I was like, oh, that's a big gap. It's kind of ugly. Yes, it is. Right? I think at that time I may have done something along these lines here, right? Whereas like the flow index is at a key point. What does it do? Does it reverse? Well, it gapped down and continued to move down. Okay, the flow index is at another key point. We do have all of these blocks in here. I think I remember mentioning that these blocks came in, they were never filled, right? Okay, dark pool 1727, first downside target 1709, below 1709. We think we come gap filled at 1680 or 1676. Watch for the flow index to bounce. Okay. This could form a big old inverter or big old head and shoulders. These two bad ears, you see them, I like to run because that's nothing but bearish news. Okay. And then finally, last but not least, I think GM was the request. You want to look at SPY also. I'm going to check out QQQ. We have bearish divergence on big tech names. I'm telling you, I trade them every day. All right, GM, dark pool 45, 22, 23, 16. If that level holds, right, and price and the flow index goes up and makes a higher high, it can pull price action up with it. See, like it did here, right? The flow index is moving upward. They're buying into this position, right? They're buying, buying. Support. Buying into it. Big moves up. Regular blocks at 45.53 and 45.64. Profit taking on the way up. This gap does kind of concern me a little bit. Does it whip down and create longer bullish divergence? Let's see what's happening with price here. Trading with price, a little bit of a drop. Right, big divergence traded out. 1-to-1 with price. Yeah, downside 44.22. Little blip and rip. I don't like this gap area, to be honest with you. I'd like maybe a down day while we get a little bit of bearish or bullish divergence. That would be pretty extreme, kind of like we did here, right? Where we had this down day while flow index continued to make a move up. Well, what happened? Well, when that divergence decided to trade out, right, from here, you would have gotten in here, you would have had a big old nice move, right? From 42 to 46 on a on a $45 stock. All right. And then SPY. Look at these blocks that printed that haven't been absorbed yet. Right. So trading with price. I think I mentioned this yesterday. Right. Watch SPY. So we've got some key levels here. So big old rounded top. We got a couple blocks here at 45.95. Remember I was telling about this yesterday. 45.95 blocks have not been fulfilled yet. Flow index. Kind of trading 1-to-1 with price. If the flow index breaks its support and moves down, then I think we get a pretty decent move down in the SPY. I'm not even gonna pretend to be like trendline detective here. Watch for the head and shoulders possibility. There's just a lot of resistance overhead. The path of least resistance would be to fully gap fill, right, to the downside. And then if you bounce off of this trend line, you get an up day. That'd be up and down, squeezing itself into a corner there. Now I have to be honest, that's a lower low. It came in, it made a new low. Yeah. All right. Careful with SPY to the downside today. Okay. All right. I got to run. Thanks for joining me. I am Dark Pool Algo. I'm here every morning, Monday through Friday. Just got some big things coming up. Bearish divergence on Iova, right? 1670 regular block. If it breaks that, that came in yesterday at the close, right? If that's a big, if that's profit taking, look for traded with price to here, up, down, down. And look for these divergences to play out. All right. Just want you guys to know that I'm not joking about these large cap bearish divergence. Can you please look at this? Oh, Microsoft. If you need to screenshot this, please do. This is AMD, Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft. This is all bearish divergence. Okay. Yes, we're getting a little bit of rip, but smart money is selling you these positions. Okay. Big dip on AMD after this failed, right? This little failed breakout. Bearish divergence is traded out. Just big moves coming down on AMD. Okay. Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Tesla. So, all right. I will talk with y'all later. Have a great day. So, everything is bearish. Word on tech. Tesla, Apple, Nvidia. All right. Have a great one. Talk to you later.